The Outside, one of the most expansive, open-ended, and in my opinion, greatest games of all time. And with a game so expansive, it obviously has an abundant amount of lore. And I can go over so many guilds and clans that change the way we play the game, even now, 100 of expansions later. The Mongols, infamous for their aggressive playstyle and their complete control over the Upper Eurasian server, their ability to fire hails of arrows while riding on horseback was incredible. Some even say it was just a perk of the guild, inherent to the design and not acquired. Oh, and not to mention the... Wait, this video is about the Egyptians. Sorry, I'm just really into the Mongol guild. The classic Egyptian guild is one of the most famous guilds ever made, right up there with the classic Romans, the classic Greeks, and the Mongols. But what sets them apart is their age. The classic Egyptians were started way back when, before every guild I just mentioned. Most players would think a guild that old must have just been a bunch of low-level noobs wandering the desert, and everything you said in that sentence is false. The Egyptians maxed out nearly every crafting and building stat, creating pots, bowls, and probably one of their most well-known structures, the Great Pyramids, a 500-foot structure made to honor previous guild leaders. It was even topped with gold blocks. These structures were so advanced that even later players started calling hacks, and believed that the Egyptians either hacked these structures in, or used max-level Smurf accounts to build these. But according to super old documents found in that area of the server, it clearly states that the buildings were built totally legit. But I can see why you'd suspect hacks when one of the earliest guilds make structures that are nearly on par with what we're making today. The Egyptians took advantage of every opportunity they got. You think a guild in a Middle Eastern server wouldn't farm. Wrong. The Egyptians spawned directly near the Nile River, one of the biggest rivers on the map. The river allowed the Egyptians to farm in the desert, with great success. Now, farming in Africa isn't hard, unless you're in the south. Seems like the devs have a knack for Africans farming in southern regions of the map. With this discovery, the Egyptians advanced quickly. They developed their own writing style and made their own religion, worshipping the devs. The devs were represented as animals with human bodies, so this might just be a joke religion calling the devs furries. The most well-known artifact is probably the Rosetta Stone. When held, this item allows the player to learn upwards of 3 languages. The slab's in-game model has Greek and Egyptian text fonts, and helps you translate and understand each one. Eventually, the Egyptians formed a pretty stable community. Obviously, the guild leaders were on top of the leaderboards, followed by people that worked for them. But unlike most communities, a low-level player had enough opportunities to level up and gain power. The most bizarre rule for this time... The most bizarre rule for this time is that gamer girls... And the most bizarre rule for this time is that gamer girls had power. Most societies kind of brushed off gamer girls, but the Egyptian guild let them do whatever they wanted, equal to a regular gamer. And probably one of the most well-known Egyptian leaders was a gamer girl, a player that went by the username Cleopatra. But eventually it all came crashing down. The Egyptians got raided and looted many times, and this area is now nothing more than a base level, maybe even bottom tier area to start. Overall, the Egyptian guild worked to their advantages amazingly, and their legacy will still live on, even after the guild has been disbanded and reformed.